Well, it's official. Mark Carney, the man who thought he could spreadsheet and central bank his way into the hearts of Canadians, has just been ejected from Parliament with all the grace of a timbit hurled into a snowblower. This is the same Carney who strutted onto the political stage like a Bay Street banker at a prairie wedding, awkward, overconfident, and entirely out of tune with the room. After losing a vote of no confidence, badly, and with zero dignity, he's now gone the way of a Microsoft Excel crash during tax season, sudden, messy, and widely frustrating. So how does a man globally admired, former head of 2 central banks, manage to flop this hard? Simple, when globalist arrogance meets real Canadian voters, it gets flattened faster than a truck stop pancake outside Saskatoon. Carney came in making big promises. He was the Liberal Party's technocratic white knight, fresh off international summits and financial roundtables. He talked macroeconomics while Canadians stared at exploding grocery bills and wondered why cheese now costs more than a tank of gas, but instead of listening, he doubled down. $130 billion in deficits, ESG buzzwords, climate finance jargon. He governed like he was running a hedge fund, not a democracy. Even his own caucus started whispering, "This guy makes Trudeau look relatable." And that's saying something. The same man Mark Carney once brushed off as populist noise suddenly became the voice of a fed-up, overtaxed, and underheard nation. While Carney was busy hosting webinars about carbon offsets and ESG benchmarks, Pierre was walking through truck stops, chatting with Canadians about gas prices, grocery bills, and why their mortgage renewals now feel like ransom notes. Carney wore tailored suits and spoke like a Davos keynote. Pierre rolled up in jeans, grabbed a Tim's coffee, and said, "Let's axe the tax, build the homes, and bring back common sense." And suddenly, people who had never voted Conservative were nodding their heads. Nurses, farmers, college grads still stuck in their childhood bedrooms, grocery clerks watching lettuce hit $7. They weren't buying into Carney's elite utopia because they were living in his inflation nightmare, and then came the turning point, not a scandal, not a soundbite, but everything at once. The final straw. A parliamentary debate where Carney, in full technocrat mode, answered a simple rent question with a 10-minute monologue about post-Keynesian capital flows. Even Liberal MPs were seen pulling out their phones to Google what the hell he just said. The media couldn't spin it. The polls cratered. Liberal backbenchers bailed. And when the non-confidence vote landed, boom, game over to O, and the cherry on top? Carney accidentally voted against himself. Yes, the man who once managed billions, couldn't manage a voting slip, and just like that, the man who was supposed to be Trudeau 2.0 didn't just fall, he face-planted into Canadian political history. As the dust settled, only one man stood tall, Pierre Poilievre. And what happened next? Well, buckle up. Because Canada was about to get a serious reality check, with no reset button in sight, the most ceremonial flex of all time, Pierre gets sworn in with a Tim Hortons in one hand and the charter in the other. Then he hits the podium and drops the line, "I'm not here for the bankers. I'm here for the builders. For the families. For the workers who kept this country running while the elites ran their models." The reaction? Pandemonium. In rural Alberta, moose herds reportedly formed into the shape of a thumbs dash up. In Newfoundland, cod fishermen toasted with screech. In Scarborough, a man held up a mortgage renewal notice and shouted, "Thank God it's finally over." And Mark Carney? He's apparently launching a podcast titled Quantitative Easing for the Soul. Episode 1, Why You Were Wrong and I Was Always Right. Total attendance 3. One's his cat. The other 2? Consultants he overpaid. He's been offered a think tank gig in Europe where he can ramble about climate finance to people pretending to care. Word is, he's working on a memoir, a tentative title, From Bank to Blank, My Journey into Irrelevance. But let's be real, this wasn't just about Mark Carney. This was about Canada, about a country fed up with being run by elites who speak fluent Davos but can't recognize a propane bill, about real people who don't want lectures on net zero metrics, they want to buy groceries, raise kids, and drive to work without being punished for it. This was about Danielle Smith invoking Section 92 to defend Alberta's resources while Carney cried, constitutional overreach. About a governor general who finally realized that leadership isn't found in economic models, it's found in public trust. Now that Pierre Poilievre is in charge, the country feels like it's finally breathing again. The bureaucratic smog is lifting. The carbon tax games are coming to an end, and Ottawa's cathedral of groupthink cracked wide open by a man who still knows how to balance a checkbook. Canadians are speaking up loudly. One man in a rural diner said it best. Carney thought Canada was a spreadsheet. Pierre reminded us it's a country. And that's the truth. Mark Carney came. He spoke in acronyms. He left in disgrace, and in his place? A movement built not on ideology, but on grit, not on theories, but on real life. This is the story of Canada's democratic correction, the fall of a man who thought running a nation was like managing a bank account. Spoiler alert, it's not so. If you're one of the millions of Canadians who believe that victory isn't won in boardrooms, but at the ballot box, hit that like button, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe because the Carney era is over, and the common sense revolution, it's just getting started.